This is my 8-track tape player, and for those of you who follow my videos, you remember when I bought this thing. I guess it was about a year ago. I think I paid 30 bucks, something like that. It had a couple of little dings in the front which did not bother me one bit. The price was right, and this is a Centrex, and it's made by Pioneer, which also didn't have a whole lot of meaning to me. You know, I've never heard of it. At that time, I had never heard of a Centrex. Since then, you know, a few of you said, yeah, I have one, but I don't know how to clean them. I'd like to know how to clean them. How do you clean an 8-track tape player? Well, you know, it's time for me to do mine, so I figured, what the heck? Let's go ahead and make a video and show you how to do it. All of the 8-track mechanisms, the mechanical mechanisms, are pretty much the same. I don't care if they're in a great big box with a turntable on top and an AM/FM receiver combination. The actual mechanics of the whole thing are all pretty much the same. And we're going to go ahead and open it up and show you what it looks like. So let's do that. To open this player, all I have to do is, you know, turn it upside down and remove these 4 screws. And the whole thing will just slide right out the front. With the screws removed, and we flip it back over right side up, and then all I have to do is just slide that baby right on out. So let me go ahead and get the power cord slid out from the back and get rid of this part so you can take a better look at it. So what gets cleaned on an 8-track player? Well, this is your playback head right here. There's 3 main things you have to clean. In addition, you know, to look at here. See, there's all kinds of bits and pieces of the tape that's broken off over here. It's just right there. It's just stuck to the end of my pencil there. Hey, I've found you know, sensing foils down there, lengths of tape. I've found splicing tape. All kinds of crap will accumulate down there after a while if you don't clean it regularly. But the 3 main things you clean is this is your solenoid coil right here. You have a positive on one side, negative on the other. When the sensing foil on the tape comes by, it shorts these 2 together. And when it shorts those 2 together, it moves the head, the playback head, to the next track on the tape. So the playhead surface has to be cleaned really good. You should also clean, you know, this the solenoid coil really clean. And over here, there's a thing right here. It's called the capstan. That is right here, and this is the capstan is what gets the most dirt on it. It really, because this is what drives the tape. The tape rests against this thing right here. This is the capstan. It's driven by the capstan motor. And this is where most of your dirt, this is what causes almost every time the machine to eat tapes. So you need to make sure that's clean. Spin it around, clean it, spin it around, clean it. You should be able to see your face in it pretty much when you're done. This is what presses the tape against the pinch roller. The tape is between it and the pinch roller, and it drives the tape, you know, it moves the tape through the cartridge and over the playback head. So this thing right here, as you can see, is pretty nasty looking. It's real dark, and you can see more pieces of tape floating around in there. I'll have to clean all that out. You just do a good job all the way around, those 3 main items, okay? Incidentally, this is your capstan motor right here. The capstan motor is attached with this belt right here. This is the capstan motor pulley. The belt drives this great big counter wheel, that's a great big thing, which in turn drives your capstan, which is your shaft right here, okay? The capstan motor and the capstan are 2 different things. So let's get cleaning now. What am I going to clean with? Well, I'll show you what I clean with. You can clean with just about anything you want. There's a guy on eBay. He's a military Marine Corps veteran that sells these long tip swabs. I always buy them from him. They're reasonable in cost, and he sends them to me right away. I also use 91% alcohol. I just scrub and scrub and scrub until everything gets nice and clean. That's all there is to it. And I mean, I use the Q-tips to clean the metal plate. Let me see how much dirt we got in there. It's been a while since I've cleaned it, but not that long. Let's see how much. See if we've accumulated any really black stuff. Yeah, see, look at there. That's the kind of crap that accumulates down there from the tapes deteriorating. Every time you play a tape, it deteriorates a little more and a little more and a little more. Eventually, it'll break and be no good. But, you know, such is life in the 8-track fast lane. Let me get started on cleaning here. Now the question comes up, how often should you clean your 8-track tape player? Well, you know, like anything else, it depends on how often you use it. I like to clean mine anywhere between 25 and 35 hours of use. Preferably 25, but you know, I'm like everybody else, I don't always get around to it. Between 25 and 35 hours of use, because the tapes do deteriorate. Like I said, there's so much gook and crap on those tapes, and it's picked up by the capstan, it's picked up by the playhead. It's terrible. All right, I've just dipped this in my little alcohol, and I'm just going to get down here. I'm going to really scrub that head, you know, just give it a good scrub. Now, everybody has their own way of cleaning. And let's say, that's not too bad. Not too bad. Could be worse. Anyway, I'm going to give that a very good cleaning until I'm satisfied, up and down, left and right. Don't be afraid to use more than one Q-tip. Don't try to clean the whole thing with one Q-tip or whatever it is you're using, because this one's not too shabby because I've been cleaning it regularly, but over in this area here, there's going to be quite a bit of crud. See what I mean? That's the kind of stuff that's been eating your tapes. You see that? Get that out of there. All right? Get that capstan clean. That capstan is just gooked up with all kinds of crap. All right, I think I'll switch. Well, let me see. I think I got kind of a clean area. I'll go over here to the solenoid coil and get that nice and clean. That also picks up a lot of residue and crap from these tapes. You know, it's like anything else. You just got to clean it and clean it until you're happy, you know. Now, I do once in a while put a little bit of oil down in there. I have a little oil bottle with a spout, and I kind of give it a little bit of a shot of oil down there. Not a ton of oil, just a little bit. It's a real thin kind of oil, and that helps the shaft turn a little bit. You don't want to get oil on the shaft, because the shaft will, the capstan shaft, the capstan, it will get on your tapes. You don't want that. Now, I've just done a real quick wipe down. You can see the crap that came out of there. It's going to take me another 10 minutes of cleaning. I'll get back with you when that's all done. One more thing I should have pointed out, in order to clean your capstan, this shaft right here, this is your capstan. You give it a good wipe down with the alcohol like I showed you earlier, then you turn the capstan. There's usually a little wheel of some kind attached to it that will enable you to turn it. If there's no wheel, then go down below and turn the big wheel down here, okay? That will turn your capstan. See it? See it turning at the top there? Let me see it. I'll turn that wheel. See it? And you need to turn that capstan around, and you need to clean, and then turn it around, and keep that up until it gets nice and spotless. Now this one's looking real good right now. All right, I think I've got everything cleaned. I've got the solenoid coil clean, I've got the playback head clean, and I've got the capstan clean, and I've cleaned the chassis all the way around as much as I can. There's no more flakes and pieces of tape in there, and that's what my Q-tips look like when I get done. See there? So don't ask what's eating with your tapes. That's it right there. Probably 90% of your problem. Clean it. Fixes everything. Let's see if we can put a little oil in there now. This is a bottle of sewing machine oil I bought at Walmart. It's a light oil, and it works real good for sewing machines, and believe it or not, it works real good on these capstans, on these 8-track tape players. But of course the deal is don't pour it down in there. You just need like maybe one tiny drop there, and that keeps that capstan free, so you don't have any kind of tape drag or any wear on the shaft down in here. I'm going to put maybe one drop right down in there, and then I'm going to flip this baby over, and I'm going to put another drop right up in there, okay, where that spins. That whole thing spins right there. Not much. Then I'm going to make absolutely certain no oil is on the capstan itself. So I'll probably take another Q-tip with some alcohol when I'm done and spin it around and make sure it's absolutely clean. You do not want to pour a bucket of oil down on these things, because if you get oil running down that capstan, what's it going to get on? Your tape. And if it gets on your tape, it's going to be wound up in that tape in there, and it will stick, and that'll be the end of that tape. It'll all be glued together, all the layers that it touches. So let me go ahead and put a drop down in there and see what happens. Alright, the oil's been applied, and I'm going to go ahead and rub this Q-tip that I have lightly dampened with alcohol. I'm going to make sure that there is no oil on that capstan. I'm going to do the same thing when I flip it over, okay? Make sure she's nice and dry and clean. Keep the oil off there. You know, this is kind of a patient thing. You know, you get yourself a cup of coffee, just sort of have a little fun. A lot of patience. Don't worry about it. Take your time. Okay? All right, let's flip it over and do the other end. One more thing you can do, and it won't hurt anything, is take a nice clean rag on the end of your finger like that, and you can wipe down that capstan back and forth like that after you've oiled it and cleaned it off with alcohol and everything. This doesn't hurt. Just be careful. There are other small components and levers and things, springs and things down there that you could catch the rag on. You know, make sure you know what you're doing. After you do this 2 or 3 times, believe me, it'll be old hat. And that's when you'll start making mistakes and breaking things. When you think you know it all, that's when the problems begin. Everybody knows that. Okay, I think that's good to go. And I think that is about it. There may be something else I need to show you. I'll have to think about this for a minute. Well, of course, there's something else we have to cover, and that is a demagnetizer. I need to demagnetize this head. I need to demagnetize the capstan under here. I need to demagnetize this solenoid coil. I need to demagnetize everything in and around where that tape flows. As the tape goes by, you know, it's magnetic. And believe it or not, the metal parts in this thing will pick up some of that magnetism. Can't help but do it. And hour after hour it goes by, hour after hour. And then next thing you know, you've got yourself a bunch of magnetic flux here and here. You know, it's just, miniature magnets is what you've created. And that too will eat your tapes. It will eat your tapes if it's not been demagnetized. So I bought one of these. Like I said, it's got a rubber tip on it. And there's a way to do this. There's no on-off switch on this one. There's no on-off switch on any of them that I could see. But I'm no expert on them, you know. Anyway, you plug it in. You don't just plug it in, then jam it down in there and start demagnetizing. Okay, no, that's not a way to do it. You plug the demagnetizer in, and you make sure it's away from your unit, whether it be your reel-to-reel, your cassette, or your 8-track. And then you bring this thing in slowly, straight forward like this. After it's plugged in, you bring it in slowly, slowly, slowly. Slowly, slowly, slowly. If you don't do it like that, you'll wind up magnetizing the metal parts even worse. So remember, slowly, 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 slowly. Don't say you haven't been told if you ruin one of your playheads or your erase head or whatever. And then once you get in there, then you kind of slowly move it around, you know. Just kind of don't try to touch anything, just get it near it if possible, up underneath there where the capstan is, up and around, up into the metal area here, over here where the solenoid coil is. And then after you've done that, then the whole thing shouldn't take more than a minute, I would say. Maximum. You just get the sides, and once you're done, then you slowly bring it straight out the opposite direction that you brought it in, okay? And once you get it far enough away, then you're okay. You can go ahead and unplug it, and you should be good to go. Now that's exactly what I plan to do right now. Well, that's it. Cleaned and demagnetized. Now I'll go ahead and put it back in this cabinet. We'll hook it all up, put a tape in, and see what happens. And hopefully I did the demagnetizing right, where this is no longer magnetized. Because if it is magnetized, then we got a big problem on our hands. You can't run a magnetized tape past a magnetized head. You got a big problem. So hopefully that didn't happen. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, she's back together. Here we go. Ooh, working good. They must be talking about me again. Yeah, that's me. Yeah. So that's how it's done, folks. Now in about another 25 to 35 hours, I'll tear it apart again. It's just one of those things with vintage gear. You have to keep doing the maintenance on it or you pay the price. Well, I hope you learned something for those of you who wanted to know how to clean an 8-track. Until next time, this is John.
When your eyes bring the rain,